Clemson University alum A.D. Carson flipped his college dissertation into a 34-track hip-hop album. Welcome back to Complex Live. Now, Nadeska, I don't know about you, but I was not a big, finals week guy. The last week of school, mad tests, mad papers, especially at Syracuse. It was very difficult. How about you, though? Did you like it?
No, I hated being in the library and all that nonsense, but I did like pushing myself to write extremely long papers at the last minute.
Well, speak for yourself. The library was lit. I mean, that's where I used to remind.
No,
that's
not at all.
Okay, all right. Anyways, I don't think this guy in our next door had any issues like I did. Clearly, you didn't. A.D. Carson recently finished up his PhD at Clemson University, and he did his entire dissertation in the form of a rap album.
I'm not that talented. I'll just put that out there.
But he actually is talented. He's actually got skills. Take a look.
Everybody seems to be concerned with the greater good. Say the last thing we need is guns in our neighborhoods. But when I weigh the good against the hoods wearing them, I think that if it's legal, maybe we should think of bearing them.
I'm A.D. Carson. I wrote a dissertation that is a 34-track rap album. Owning my master's, The Rhetorics of Rhymes and Revolutions. It's part of a digital archive that I recorded over the course of the previous 7 semesters at Clemson University.
Clemson is on what was formerly a slave plantation that was owned by John C. Calhoun. He wasn't just a slave holder. He was someone who was an advocate for slavery. He went to Congress and presented a paper called Slavery is a Positive Good. It was a military university initially, and they worked very hard to maintain it as an all-white institution until they were forced by a lawsuit to integrate.
I arrived in Clemson the week of the verdict of the George Zimmerman trial. The undergraduate population of this university is 6% black and 84% white. And so if you have a 6% population that's expressing solidarity or expressing concern, and then you have members of that 84% telling people to get over it or telling people that it has nothing to do with them, it puts us in a position to kind of think about, what does it mean to be in this community? What does it mean to show empathy? The adversity helped to create the product that is the 34-track album and the rest of the digital archive. Hip hop has this kind of focus, so I wrote music to speak out about Clemson's history and how it affects us in the present day.
It's one for the niggas, the ones that was caught that descriptive when they was delivered.
Familiar is an interesting track because it's a trap beat. And immediately when I hear the trap beat, I start to think about James Baldwin. And James Baldwin says that we're trapped in history and history's trapped in us. That was going to be something I figured that people would kind of get into. What I wanted to do lyrically for the verses is to symbolically represent what's going on in America. I want to provide familiar circumstances and then have you figure which one is the one happening in the past and which one is the one happening currently.
A.D. revealed to me that his plan was to actually offer his dissertation as a hip-hop album. That's very different than how dissertations are often presented. I just told A.D., like, look, if you want to do this, we're going to make sure that this is something you're able to defend to anybody in the academy, because there's been a long history of people not really respecting not just hip hop, but African-American cultural forms as valid.
The project argues for attentiveness to historical and contemporary social justice issues, particularly blackness as it pertains to embodied and disembodied voice and performance.
When the dissertation defense came around, my committee was very receptive. Once they understood my vision of the project and the way that I wanted to deliver it, I think the album gives you a good glimpse of what being here was like, both in the academic sense and in the social sense and in the artistic sense. I actually just presented a rap album as my dissertation and I passed. It was really kind of unreal. I'm just trying to get comfortable with people calling me Dr. Carson.
Our man has now graduated, so big shout out to our now Dr. Carson.
Yeah, man, congrats. That's big.
Yeah,
We'll never be
rap.
that accomplished in life.
Speak for yourself. I mean, I probably will. But make sure you guys bump A.D.'s album in full. Just click that link that's right here. Not click it, but copy and paste it. Type it in. Go to this link that's right here.